I want you, after looking at that doorway, I want you to step through it. Tell me, what do you see?
Just beautiful grass field.
Beautiful grass.
It's like I'm in the garden. I've stepped into the kitchen garden.
Into the kitchen garden. And tell me, is it day or night?
It's close to lunchtime. The sun's high overhead.
It's close to lunchtime. And how do you feel in this kitchen garden?
Joyful.
Joyful, happy to be there. So I want you to look down at your feet and tell me, do you have anything on your feet?
Yes, I have black patent shoes on.
Black shoes. And would those shoes belong to a male or a female?
A little girl.
A little girl. And how old would this little girl be?
9.
And she would be around 9 years old. And I want you to now look at the rest of the body, be an observer of this body. And what does this body look like that belongs to this little girl?
She's quite thin. She has curly blonde straw colour hair. She's got a beautiful little dress on.
And what do they call her? What name do they call her? So if you had to write it in the sand with a lovely stick, what letters would you use?
It's something like Laura Lee or Laura Lee.
So if I had to say to you Lauralee, or if I had to say to you Lauralee, which one sounds better?
Lauralee.
Lauralee. So Lauralee, tell me, what are you doing in this garden today?
I'm playing in the magic.
You're just playing in the magic. And when you tell me that you're playing in the magic, describe to me what you mean by that.
There's magic everywhere. The butterflies, the air itself is alive with magic. I can feel the magic. I can see the magic.
And tell me, Lauralee, do you have a mum and a dad?
Yes, they're in the big house.
And they're in the big house. Well, why don't you do me a favor and walk with me? Let's go to the big house and take me to where you usually have a meal. And I want us to sit at that table and tell me how many people are having a meal with you.
There's 2 places to eat. Sometimes I eat in the kitchen and sometimes I eat in the dining room at the big table.
At the big table. So why don't we go to the big table this time and see who's there with you?
I see Mama and I see my dad
So could you tell me that again, who you seeing?
Mama
Mama?
and Da.
And just the three of you?
There are some others. There is an older sister and an older brother.
So you have a brother and a sister as well.
Yes.
So the three of you are Mama and Papa as such.
Yes.
So what I want you to do, I want you to look deeply into your father's eyes and see if you've ever seen those eyes before.
My son's eyes.
They are Luca's eyes. Very good. And what kind of a relationship do you have with your papa, Lauralee?
I'm his favorite. I love my dad.
You love your dad, and he looks after you beautifully.
He knows I'm special and different.
And he knows. Very good. And now I want you to do the same with your mama.
No, I've not seen her eyes before.
You haven't seen the eyes before.
No.
And what about doing the same thing with your big brother and your big sister?
Oh my goodness. The brother's eyes is Tyrone.
Is Ty.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And the sister.
It's familiar, but I don't recall.
Okay, so it doesn't really register as anything really important. Very good. So, do you speak the same language there as you do now, or do you speak a different language?
It's different. It sounds French, very melody. No,
Very melodious.
yes.
And what year would this be if you had to see it on a blackboard being written in front of you? What year would this be?
1847.
1847, 1847. Very, very good. So, Lauralee, what I want you to do is we're going to leave that scene now and we're going to drift and float to a very important event in that same life. And when you get there, let me know. Tell me what's happening.
I'm older, maybe 35.
35?
There's people.
Are you still living at the big house?
No.
Where are you now?
I have my own big house.
And who's with you in your big house, your own big house?
I think I'm married, but he's not here.
He's not there at the moment.
No.
And do you have any children?
Yes, I have 3 children.
So I want you to take me where they sleep. What kind of a house is this? Is this on a single level? Is it a double story?
It's a very big, very large. opulent home. 3 levels. There's 3 levels.
3 levels, and where do they sleep?
On the 2nd level.
On the 2nd level, and where do you sleep?
On the 2nd level.
Also on the 2nd level. I want you to take me to your bedroom.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Beautiful?
Beautiful.
Do you like being in this bedroom?
Yes, it's my space.
It's your place.
Mm-hmm.
And I now want you to take me to the front door when your husband arrives home.
I think my husband has passed.
So he's passed away, he's no longer there.
There's no man of the house. It's my home.
It's your home. And how did you feel about his passing?
I was a little sad, but not devastated.
Not devastated. Very, very good. Okay, well, I'm going to count to 3. And when I get to 3, we will have left that scene and you will be at another very important event in that same lifetime. 1, drifting and floating. 2, getting closer and closer to a very important event. And 3, be there now.
I'm laying on a bed. I'm very old.
You're very old. How old are you?
88.
88. And tell me, Laurelie, are you healthy or are you sick?
I've decided that it's time to leave.
It's time to leave. And how do you feel about your day?
Peace is coming, peaceful.
Peace is coming. And while you lie there, are you alone?
Yes, I am alone.
You're alone, so your children are not with you.
They've been and I sent them away.
Okay. So while you're lying there and you can see your body down there, looking at that life from the outside, what was it that you needed to learn?
That as a woman, I could be in control of my life. I didn't need a male to guide me. I could be powerful.
And tell me, Laurelie, do you think you learned it?
Yes. And
you did.
I was able to stay magical. And
right through.
Yes, and not hide that once my husband had passed. It was okay for me to be me, regardless of what others may have said or thought.
Beautiful, beautiful. So tell me, what do you do once you're out of your body? Is anybody coming for you? Where do you go?
I just seem to be floating, and the colours are
Tell me about the colours.
There's all many colours, and they're just dancing around. And I am the colours, and I'm part of all of that. And then it's like a stream, a flow. The colours are just dancing and flowing.
Okay, and then what happens? Tell me when you arrive, where you go to, when you usually finish an incarnation. What is this place?
This place is the most vibrant, magnificent place I've ever seen.
Tell me more.
It's like I'm in it's a different, it's it's a it's another planet. It's the colors are stunning. There's crystal buildings everywhere. It's but it's smooth like a light blue, and everyone is beautiful and everyone is happy, and the colors.
And what do they look like when you look at these beings? What shape or form do they take?
They're sort of human looking-ish, much taller. They sort of look human, but their skin is luminous, like,
They're glowing?
yeah, like glowing from the inside.
Wonderful. And when you look at yourself there, look at you. Do you have a form?
Yes. It's a form, but not quite a form. It's it's not a dense form. It is a form, but it is a much higher frequency, a much higher vibration form.
Okay.
And the light, you see the light through. It's like a luminescence.
Beautiful. Very good.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's so
And those crystal buildings, are they big or small?
large, like they're very large, but they're created. It's not like crystal that is cut from something. The crystals are formed with intention, and it's not like crystals that you would see on Earth. It's very different. They're very large structures, like there's lots of angles, and it's all based on the sacred geometry, the geometrical fractal light creations.
So is there a specific purpose for those shapes?
Yes. Frequency and sound waves. I can see the sine wave and then the frequency. It's somehow connected. The buildings have a sound that the buildings sing.
Ah, the buildings sing, so they vibrate.
Yes.
So there's a harmony, a harmonic.
Yes.
Very good. And tell me, this place, does it have a name? Or is it a dimension?
I don't know what the name is.
That's okay. So now that you've arrived and these other beings that are around you, Are these your soul family, or are they here coming to have a conversation about their past incarnation as well? What are you all doing here?
We all, this is a place of joy, and we talk about how funny it is that we don't remember when it's like a virtual reality experience going to have an incarnation on Earth. It's like we are projected into the different incarnations.
Yes.
And it's fun.
And
Nothing that happens in any of them is, it's all a joyful experience.
and tell me, do you choose which area you go to
Yes,
incarnate?
yes. We. It's like creating a recipe for the different things that we wish to play with. Yes, we choose.
And do you get to choose the characters that are going to be a part of your movie as such?
Yes, we choose who we wish to play with.
Oh, so you choose your playmates.
We choose. And it's all so much fun.
And then when you arrive at any destination to have your new play date as such for an extended time, so you arrive with a knowing, or does that get removed?
Very beginning, the knowing is there, and then it's like amnesia. But the knowingness is still deep within that magical knowing, but not the remembering.
But not the remembering. So what happens then when you experience what's termed déjà vu during one of your playtimes?
It's as though the veil is removed and a remembering of that moment arises, and then the veils are like gossamer curtains, like chiffon, like very sheer, and the déjà vu is the glimpse into the remembering.
Wonderful. Thank you. I really appreciate that explanation. So I wonder if you could do me a favor now. And now that you've arrived after your time in France, and here you are in your beautiful glowing body in the Crystal City. So then, this is such a wonderful adventure. Thank you so much for sharing it with me. So, why don't you take me now where you go once you've arrived? What is the next step?
When I've arrived home,
From Earth after your incarnation as Laurelie?
I come back into an area where it's like some form of decompression to review the experiences and compare them to what the planned experiences were to be.
So, when you do this, are you alone or are there others?
It's like this large crystal room,
Mm.
and there is like They're calling themselves the counsel.
The counsel.
And the counsel is around, everybody is around, there's a table that is a very large slab of crystal, and it's like there are holographic tablets, like an iPad sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then above the table, there's a holographic vision of all the different experiences, and it seems to be the council are more senior, more, no, not more evolved, more senior. And it's just a review and an analysis, but there is no judgment in this place. There is only love.
So what do they say to you about how you did as the part that you played as Laurelie in that house?
They said it took a little longer to reconnect to the magical knowing that I went in with. And in that time, it was to prove that women could survive without a male to look after them. And I did good. It took me a little longer than I had initially planned.
Mm.
But in the end, it was perfect.
It was perfect. Now, how many are on the council?
12 or
And
13.
there are 12 of them?
1, 2, 13.
And there are 13 on the council.
Yes.
And tell me more about the council. How does somebody get chosen to be on that council?
There are many council members. I could be on someone else's council. The council members are not more evolved. The council members are part of me.
Tell me more. What do you mean part of you?
What do I part of me? It's like we are all somehow connected at the same frequency.
Right.
So imagine musical notes, the frequency, the vibration, the resonance. It's music, sound, frequency is the key to unlocking the all. These are all on the same resonance, the same note.
So the same tune.
Yes.
And is that why they can read you as such?
Yes.
Because they're vibrating at your level?
Yes.
Okay, so it's almost like all on the same vibration, all on the same level, and having an instant understanding and a chat.
Yes. There are many others on similar frequencies, but once you've chosen your counsel, it's like they plug in to that.
And do they ever change? Do you ever say, look, I don't want to be in with
Yes.
you guys?
Yes, we choose. There's nothing that when you're in the love, if you choose to swap out someone that may bring a different aspect,
Mm-hmm.
you choose. That's okay.
Okay, so that's okay. So is there one particular being on the council that speaks more or says more than others, that is like a personal guide to you?
There seems to be somebody that has a more senior role,
Mm-hmm.
like a chairman.
Right.
The energy feels much more male than female.
So what I'd like you to do now is to address the council and ask them if one of them is your particular guide, and if so, if they could step forward and answer some of your questions today.
The male is nodding his head.
He's nodding his head. Tell me, how do you feel about him?
With everybody, there is so much love.
Right.
I feel a little in awe of him.
Do you feel that you could learn from this being?
Yes.
Right. So I want you to now hear how you address him. What name does he give you? For humanity loves to have a name to address a being. How would he like to be called when we have a discussion today?
He's laughing and says that it's like a frequency signature or an energy signature.
Correct. Correct.
So,
But if we can use a name to address him instead of saying hello energy signature, what would he like if he wants to just play our game?
Can you play our game, please? What name?
Once again, you can imagine a blackboard in front of you, and you can just have some magic chalk and you can write any letters over that blackboard and you'll be able to see the signature name.
D.
What's the first letter you get?
D.
What is that?
D for dog.
D for dog.
A.
A. A for ape.
A for apple.
Apple.
N for Nelly.
N for Nelly.
And I don't know, it's like Danae.
Like D-A-N-E-Y or D-A-N-A-Y?
D-A-N-E with like a
Umlaut on the end.
Danae.
Like a French thing with a little cap on.
Yes.
Like an apostrophe.
Yes.
Like a Great Dane, but with Danae.
Yes, Danae.
So if I say to you, no, Danae, does that sound right?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So, Danae, thank you so much for actually coming through and showing your light and your love to Martienne today. You know, she's got some questions. She had that beautiful, magical time as Laurelie as the child in France, remembering the magic. And she seems to be quite magical with everything that she's been experiencing as a Martienne. What did she come to do this time? Last time she was learning to be a self-sufficient woman in an era where women were really not supposed to be so powerful and strong and courageous by themselves. And now she finds herself alone again as such. What gifts is she bringing to this lifetime?
She has mastered that she does not need another. This will be useful in this lifetime. She brings the love and the magic.
So she's brought the love and the magic back again.
Yes.
And in which way is she going to be using that love and that magic? If you could show her now.
To ignite the light in others and to allow them to see this light within themselves.
And does she have to learn any new modalities at all in order to do this, or has she already got all the tools in her toolbox?
There are no more tools required.
No more tools required. You know, she's a chartered accountant, and she told me earlier that the way that she's working within the monetary system, she's trying to empower people and show them a different way out of the system as such. But because Earth is, they use something called money, that is how she's helping them. But she sees herself on stage, and she told me something about light and colors in an audience. Could you expand on that, please, Danae?
Yes, what she's doing now is a stepping stone to get to that, and the colors are the frequency and the vibration, and bringing from home the musical resonance down to this incarnation, and her voice will be the musical frequency which will shift and remove the distortions that are currently within the beings. This distortion is stopping and blocking the light of these beings from shining so brightly. The frequency of the beings is an off resonance, and it needs to be recalibrated to ensure that it is the correct frequency for their light to shine.
So thank you very much, Danae. When is this going to begin? What does she have to put in order for this to start proceeding? Because life on Earth at the moment is a little bit discombobulated. How does she even advertise herself or get people to know about herself?
When the time is right, it will just happen. It will not be in Australia. It will be elsewhere.
It'll be elsewhere. Well, she did speak earlier about perhaps spending a little time in Mexico. Would that be part of meeting the people she needs to meet
Yes.
for the talks ahead?
Yes. Yes. There will be people, others, that are very, their conduit is open She needs to surround herself with others that are also open, and this will allow her to adjust her frequency and vibration to be open. There is nothing that needs to be done. There is all about being and allowing and being open to receiving from others.
So why does she need to come to Earth to bring the harmony back to those beings so that the resonance can vibrate back to the original way they should? What is actually the end goal or point of that?
Alignment with the planet.
Alignment with the planet. So she's helping the alignment. So when she does this, will they resonate the way they should? And so there'll be a smoother path for them? Will they have a lighter load?
Yes. There will be many that leave Earth plane, and there will be those that will stay. And those that are to stay need assistance in the recalibration of their light. And it is bringing the recalibration to a new frequency that will be a match to the planet, because the frequency at the moment of the people is not in resonance with the planet, and for them to stay on the planet once she has got to the point that she has reached her transformation, the humans will need to be calibrated to that new frequency, which has not been on this planet for a very, very, very long time.
So, Danae, why would the others be leaving? Are those the ones that can't lift their frequency? Or are they always just meant to vacate anyway?
Both. There are many groups of beings on the planet, and many cannot raise the frequency of their light to the level required to resonate with her when she has evolved the planet.
Okay. And these beings that are leaving, they just go on to their new incarnations?
They will go somewhere like a holding area where all of their trauma and their experiences will be removed, and they will have their frequency raised to the maximum that they can have, and they will be in a different dimension.
in a different dimension. Now, Martine, in her current incarnation, has gone through so much trauma. What was the purpose of that?
To show her that no matter what she will experience, her love, her magic, and her light will never be dimmed.
Okay, so she actually must have made that contract with the players that have been in her life, the parents and the husband and her son, before she arrived. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So perhaps she will now understand that her husband, although this was not a perfect union, brought through her very beautiful, much loved son, and that he was only playing a part.
The child came down to remind her of the love and the magic, because she was forgetting. And this child was a reminder of home, and to show her that love can overcome everything when you remove all else.
So, you know, there doesn't seem to be an awful amount of love going around the world at the moment, Danae. What can you tell us about that? How can we bring more love back to Earth?
There is larger and larger pockets of beings that are anchoring this love and light onto the planet at this time. There is a blackout in the sharing of this information, and even though you may think that there is not much love, there is large amounts of love anchored. This information is just not being shared at this time.
So why, who is stopping us from sharing that information of knowing how much love is anchored in our planet?
The puppets that are in control cannot allow the sharing of the love, because love eliminates the fear which has been causing the masses to be locked in fear. It is a puppet show. However, it is part of the evolution of the people and the planet. And the people that will be taken off are the people that are plugged into the fear. Those that are not plugged into the fear are plugged into the love and the light frequency that is being brought on to the earth at this time.
Thank you. Also, she feels such a deep connection with Egypt. Why does she have this connection, this feeling? You know, she visited Egypt and she said when she was there, she kept on looking around thinking, but these are not the Egyptians. Where are the Egyptians? So what was that all about?
She had a number of incarnations in this place, and in this time there was long lifetimes, and one gathered great wisdom and knowledge. In these times she was very powerful. She lived long lives. She was very similar to home in she did not forget who she was, and the information from home was able to be utilized in a different time when Egypt and the frequency and vibration of the planet was very different, not as it is now.
So when you say that she was very powerful, could you give me an example of what that kind of power can do? What is this power that you're talking about? What was she able to do with the power in that lifetime?
The power, as can be done here, manipulation of the organic materials on earth, utilizing the musical frequency and resonance to bring into creation that which one's heart envisions, and the understanding of the sacred geometry and the frequency of the planet, and bringing from home the structures were able to transmit from home to earth. And the magic which is here was able to be on planet Earth when Egypt was in a different frequency.
So, what changed? Where did that magic go? How did we veer so far off our path when there had been so much light?
Others no longer resonated with love. And when they moved from love, it was no longer capable of being at the frequency required to have all of the connection.
Okay, that's excellent. So that brings me to another question, in that Martine, since she was a little girl, could actually see beings in front of her. But through different bits of trauma that happened, she's closed that off, almost like a protection. So will she be able to see again externally, or is it going to be the internal that she sees?
The external will be reactivated, but in a different way. Previously, it was like elementary school, and it will reactivate at a very different level, at a much higher vibration and frequency, when she is around the people that she needs to connect with. It will just simply open once she is surrounded by the right resonance of other beings. It will just happen.
Okay. So, what about her connection to Hawaii? She spoke to me about that and how she felt that she had her feet on the ground and there was some kind of light coming through her and going into the ground. Does this mean that she's going to be going to Hawaii and an activation will take place? Is it necessary for her to visit it, or can she just visualize it and an activation take place?
There is a portal that has been calling her. This portal yes, she needs to physically put her vessel on the portal, and this will fully enlighten her physical structure and shift the channels of receptivity to the frequency to be fully open and fully activated. So, yes, this is necessary.
So when she does that, when she's fully activated, is that only afterwards where will she stand on stage and be able to activate others once she's being activated? So is this a process?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. What about her learning to speak Spanish?
There is a partner, and she will not be living in Australia for much longer. There will be a man and the location where he is presently. They speak Spanish. The man himself is not Spanish, but the location where he lives, they speak Spanish. And this location she will be at for a time, and this is a base for her to connect with the other beings that she must connect with. It is after this point that the portal activation will happen.
Okay, so it's all lining up.
Everything is orchestrating in perfect time.
Very good. So, how is she doing with her gift so far? Is she on course at the moment?
She must allocate quiet time to connect more fully and do this on a regular basis. Information does come through for others very clearly. However, she needs to make the time for this information to come through for herself clearly.
Okay, because at the moment she's working with others, and she said when she works with others, although she's a chartered accountant, she's able to see their energy and she starts receiving messages and giving them guidance.
Yes, the accountant is a facade required to get through to people that otherwise would not search for this type of information. She will eventually only do this type of channeling.
Okay, and then she's just got the base. So she's used her job actually as a way of connecting with the people that need to be opened up.
Yes, correct.
It's wonderful. So I wonder at this point, Danae, if you could be so kind as to scan her body from the top of her crown to her toes and just let us know how her physical 3D is doing and if there's anything that needs attention at this time.
From a physical perspective, her body is okay. There is some issues with her right elbow and her right knee, but all organs are fine. There is no issues with the fluid, blood, all body fluids are fine. The elbow and knee seem to have a little bit of calcification.
So what can she do about that calcification in the elbow and the knee? Can you give her any assistance with that today?
Yes, we will just blast some frequency. The sine wave will disintegrate the calcification.
So does it have a specific frequency to do that particular job?
Yes.
And is this something available to all earthlings? Can they just ask their guides for the frequency to heal the particular organs or areas of discomfort?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Every organ has a very specific frequency.
Right.
And one simply needs to ask that the individual areas are brought back into alignment with the required frequency. Where there are things like calcification or growths, then there is a very high frequency that would be directed at those things, which will dissolve or disintegrate things like the calcification and the growths or tumors.
Very good, because it seems that at the moment humans are learning more and more about frequency and tuning forks and scalar waves, all these different machines. Is this a new way of learning how to deal with the dis-ease in a body?
This knowledge was on this planet 200 years ago. And to maintain harmony, a continual frequency playing in a town or a city would ensure that nobody got ill or their frequency or resonance was not disrupted. This technology, as you say, was shut down and removed. This technology is still there, and the knowledge and information is still there and will be coming out very soon. However, the technology will only be of benefit if one is coming from a space of love. They will not work if one is in fear.
So how do we help those then that are fear-based? There must be some energy that will be able to unlock that.
One must just be love, be light, and give or send this love and light to others, to break the dark, locked down energy of fear.
So if somebody is so fear-ridden that they can't do it themselves, are you saying that if you get a collection of beings, say 3 or 4 others, with a thought intention, that they could actually transmit love to that being's way? Would that
Yes,
help?
that is correct. The intention of love from a group will have astounding impacts on one that is stuck.
Okay.
The challenge is the group can lift the fear, but the one that is in fear can bring the fear straight back.
Okay. So we have to start learning, once the fear has lifted, how to keep it away and teach them how to do maybe self-protection as such, and teach them that they're worthy.
Every being is light, and we just need to remind them that they are light, and protection is a mental construct, but that mental construct will be beneficial to stop them going back in to fear. You do not need to physically protect, because light and love will always, as the highest frequency, destroy or dissolve anything other than that. But in the realm of earth, the mind is the one that needs to believe in the protection, and the mind is where fear lives. Fear cannot live in the heart. Fear is a mental construct, and the powers currently, the puppeteers, understand that if they can plug into the mind of those that access the fear, then that effectively disconnects that being from their heart, and subsequently their love and their light. So the control is at the level of the mind and nowhere else.
Okay, and this mind control is such, which is the strongest form that these people, these earthlings, are getting controlled? In what format?
It is all via word. The word creates the story for the mind to construct the fear, the frequency that is being transmitted is being received on the television box, and the computer through different platforms, and also the radio. So people are allowing themselves to be bombarded at multi-level An example would be the television is on at home, the radio is on in the car, and the person is plugging in on their phone or computer to the same programming platforms. So on multi levels, they are being infiltrated. The biggest problem is the television and the controlled platforms which are accessed on the computer and phone.
Okay. So, what advice could you give humanity at this stage to best connect with themselves and their guidance?
Take time to connect with nature. Stand on the grass. Connect to the trees. The trees connect globally. The information and the wisdom and knowledge in the trees is there for humanity to receive. Stillness and the opening of one's heart will allow them to remove the mind-controlled construct and get back into the heart. And once they are in the heart and connected to nature, the control construct has no more power.
Oh, that is so good to know. Now, there's a lot of troubled times at the moment on Earth. How are we going to be getting through this? And how much longer do you see us having to wait for changes?
There is much chaos, but the chaos is the dismantling, the deconstruction of the power play behind the puppeteers. The times will appear to be more chaotic until the beginning of the next new year. At this time, the frequency of the planet will shift again, and things will start easing as people disconnect from the mind-controlled construct. From the beginning of the new year, there will be a number of months where it appears the chaos is seemingly mindless. However, this is a reorganization and will appear to suddenly cease, but it will happen over a number of months, 6 months, and it will appear as the calm after a very bad storm.
Okay. And you know, so many people talk about an event that something's going to happen. Is this still something that is coming that we need to prepare for?
There will be an event that is a planetary event, not a people event. And this is necessary for the earth to recalibrate her energy. There will be an event between the sun and the earth, and this will change the frequency of the planet in a very short period of time.
How will this affect the humans living on the planet, this new frequency?
This event is not, it is still a little away. It is not in a few months, it is away. What the beings on the planet will be doing is raising the resonance of the beings here, so that the shifting frequency of the planet and the beings will be aligned. And before this will happen, many people will exit, and the people that remain will be recalibrated to the resonance of the planet, and there will be harmony and alignment.
Is this what they call the new earth?
Yes, the new earth is here already on the planet. However, the dimension will come, a planet will raise and be at that same frequency, and then it will be one dimension. At the moment, the new earth exists in a different dimension to earth as it is right now.
Thank you so much. So are there many people like Martienne that have come now to help with this process?
There are many, many of you here. You are one of them. They are not in your neighborhood. They are placed around the planet. And these beings will connect at a point in time, in the right time, to then raise the frequency of all that are to stay to the required level, and that will change the dimension of Earth, and the new Earth dimension that is currently existing will become one with the new Earth at that time, and there will be a rebuilding of the reality to be in place for the new Earth.
Thanks, Danae. And what was the purpose of you wanting Martienne to actually have a session at this time? What was it that she needed to know? Have we covered everything, or is there something still that you need to tell her?
This session was required for two reasons. One was to connect her with yourself, and the second was to let her know and comprehend the gravity and the importance of the role that she has come to assist and facilitate with the others that have come to do the same thing.
Now, I think we actually were gifted with a lot of information from you today, Danae. Do you feel that this information would be helpful to be shared with humanity? Because it's not something I usually do.
Those that hear will be awakened, and the message is to remind all those that are here it is time to find each other and connect.
Beautiful. So, Danae, do you think we have covered everything? Is there anything else that we need to know before we finish the session?
Yes, I wish to share all is not lost. The evolution of the planet and the evolution of the beings is happening and will happen. You are here for a purpose that is much larger than your human mind can comprehend. However, when you connect to your heart, you know this to be true. Have faith, be love, shine your light, and know that everything is perfect.
Wonderful. I'd like to thank you so much for your time today with helping Martine and coming from the council and helping humanity today with your light, Danae, and bringing Martine to me. It's been such a pleasure.
You are very welcome.
And until we meet again, thank you. And I'm now going to count from 1 to 5. And when I reach 5, you're going to be back wide awake and feeling fabulous. So 1, moving around and starting to come back to the room. And 2, stretching. And 3, feeling vibrant and fabulous. And 4, that's it. And 5, welcome back. Welcome back.
Oh, whoa.
How are you feeling?
Oh, a bit,
Rosie?
yeah, that's a very good description.
It's almost like lightheaded sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And Danae was definitely talking through you because you kept on adjusting like that with your voice.
Oh, it's funny, isn't it? You don't even know. You're not. Speak, Martine. Speak English. Connect brain and mouth. It's you're away, but you're not away.
How was that Crystal City?
Oh my God. We have no idea. Like, the colors we have here are just so bland. The colors were like alive. And the crystals, they were like this light blue, sort of turquoisey color. But they were sort of milky but translucent. I don't know how to describe that.
Mm.
And they were like palaces or and oh my God, the beings were just so, they looked sort of like us, but what we would be if we were light.
So are you feeling more that you know your pathway a little bit better now?
Yeah. Yeah. I think I just have to keep following the guidance, that the intuition that comes down. And I think the biggest thing is the trust. You know, as humans, we like to control, and I'm a very organized person. I'm a little bit OCD. You know, I like everything in its place, but I hate being controlled. So it's quite a dichotomy, really. And I just need to just surrender. And I obviously need to make some more time just to meditate and be still.
That's why they told me that we have to have one day a month where you make an appointment with yourself.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And they said you take a backpack or something into nature with lunch and water
And just go.
and a notebook. And you sit down and you connect with nature, no telephones, no music, no one else. Just a chance to really connect with self, which is then connecting you with your guidance, and start writing. Start writing everything that's in your heart, everything that you currently have, everything that you still wish to achieve, like learning Spanish and going to Hawaii, etc. So then you'll see a pattern starting to emerge.
Right. Well, you know, we can travel now.
Yeah.
People keep saying to me, I live my life. I don't ask for permission. If I need to ask for forgiveness, I do, but I just do. I'm born rebellious and I've never followed rules. I only became an accountant because I think taxes are wrought. I needed to understand the rules so I could work them to my advantage. You know, I'm doing, at the moment, I'm doing
You tell people what you do. So if somebody wants to come and see you or connect with you, we'll put your details down. What do you offer them?
What the process at the moment is, they initially I'll chat to them and have a 20-minute just intro chat, which I call a discovery session, and then normally to work, and then it's just consulting with me either on Zoom or they come in. I never lock down or anything. And then what it is I basically help turn what is a dream into some form of tangible goal and then create a pathway for them to achieve that.
And is that with their money and their life as such? Is it
Pretty
a combination?
much, yeah. When I channel, it's just everything.
Okay.
At the moment, a lot of people are coming to me asking, you know, how to navigate this whole sovereignty thing. And I'm in the process of doing paperwork to lodge in the public system that acknowledges that I'm a living being, not a corporate entity.
Okay.
So that, but I can't continue to be a tax agent working with our tax office and teach people how to not pay tax. So there's a point in time that I need to cease doing that. But I think for now, the business is required, because if there's no bridge between 3D and 5D, no one will ever get there. So the business model needs to be there. I'll just train people to do whatever. You know, I'm very entrepreneurial. I've got plans for, you know, big business model to work. But I'm a bit under the radar. So I get a lot of word of mouth clients, but I don't advertise anything.
Do you have a website?
I have one website, Martienne Luz Angelique, but I just did that as a basic WordPress one. I'm just working with some people to get the business website up, and the business brand that I have is called Savvy. So Spirit gave it to me, SAVVI, systemize, automate, understand your values, create a vision and implement.
Fabulous.
So I have Savvy Accounting, Savvy Money, Savvy Business, Savvy Wealth. I have a whole lot of different, you know, components that I will launch. But Martienne in the short term is to be the wealth diva. And I think I just need to, I just get stuck. I get so obligated. Everyone needs me, so I'm there for everybody. And then I'm right down the bottom of the pile and I don't do anything for me. And then a month later, I'm like, God, I wanted to do this, and this, and I've done nothing because I've been busy running around and helping everyone else with whatever crisis they have. Because honestly, my belief is there is no problem that we can't solve. Everything is figure outable. It doesn't matter where you are right now. There is always a way to get where you need to go.
And wow, when people hear your story, when I interview you and they find out how you've managed to get from almost destitute to where you are now. You are such an inspiration. So what I think I'm going to do, I will stop this recording now as such so people can get hold of you, and we will continue to have a little private chat. So I'd just like to say thank you so much for an awesome session. You were fabulous.
Thank you.
Oh,
That
it's
was
an
amazing.
absolute pleasure. Okay, let's do this.
Bye.
Cheers. Oh, no, sorry.